$2,500 a week.
But people like real, and that's why they like her.
Is that what they like?
They love real.
Oh, because everybody's real then. So don't trip.
No, they like
wherever
Tiffany
you
Haddish
at under the sound of my voice.
Real.
Do you have a real co-worker?
Right.
Do you have a ratchet friend? Do you have a sister? Do you have a cousin? Do you have a nephew? Do you have a niece? Is they so ghetto? When did that become marketable? Knock it off. They like her because she want to sleep with a white man. That's why the only thing she said was, I want to give it to Brad Pitt.
Cause you mad you didn't get to get into school my wet. Don't worry about it. Cause you mad you didn't get to get into school my wet. Don't worry about it.
Cause you mad you didn't get to get into school my wet. Don't worry about it.
Haddish shared several interesting stories, including the time she was sure she had a shot with the Late Show host Stephen Colbert. She says, I was like, oh, he's into me. Maybe I'm going to date him. Near the end of the interview, when I saw that ring on his finger, I don't know if you could see my whole body language change, but it did.
We did a reenactment of Friends, and, you know, any chance that I get to play a white woman, I am there. And, see, I'm a white woman on paper. I've been a white woman for the last, 5-10 years now.
Wait,
like, girl, this is your chance. What do you mean this is my chance? Obama said it's time for change. You can be whatever you want to be today. And I was like, you right, I can be whatever I want to be. And I looked at him and I said, I'm Caucasian. Life has been really awesome. I've been booking all these TV show roles because of affirmative action. They need white women to play black women, so that's me. I took a shower and I started writing out my list. And I wrote that, you know, I want to get my own place one day, work with Jada Pinkett Smith, have my own stand-up comedy set special, sit across from you one day and you googly eye me like, yes. I also wrote on that list, I also wrote that, you know, Brad Pitt will start asking me to dinner all the time, where it's so much where I just like, look, Brad, I'm busy, I can't. Also, I wrote on there that I want to get pregnant by Leonardo DiCaprio.
What a joy, just to sit next to you.
Well, you know, it's even more of a joy if you get to know me, baby.
You met Leonardo DiCaprio. Is that a recent meeting that you had? Yeah.
And I first met when me and Kevin met and stuff, and he told me to make this list of
Kevin
those.
Hart, yeah.
Kevin Hart, yes. He told me to make a list. So Leonardo was on that list, okay?
Oh.
So, and that was it was to get pregnant by him. So when I met him, I got to work on the goals. So I saw him and I walked up to him and I was like, hi, Leonardo. My name is Tiffany Haddish, and I think that you are such a talented person. He's like, thank you. I think you're really funny. I saw you with Chris Rock and all that. I was like, oh, thank you, thank you. So I just want to tell you something. He's like, what? I was like, I want to hit. He's like, what? I said, I want to hit that. I ain't talking about drugs. He started laughing, and then he started going into, you know, he's like, oh, I worked with these kids for 2 weeks, and then, you know, working with Johnny Depp was such an experience, blah, blah. He was talking, I was like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, anyways, when am I going to get to him? That's what I want to know.
Is the offer still out there?
The offer is out there. He didn't take me up on it. I don't know if he thought I was playing, but I was dead serious.
He probably thought you were kidding.
Oh, man. Let's see your skills. Like, I want to be Thurgood Marshall, Martin Luther King. Maybe he be Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? Forget it, be Harriet Tubman. Show me where the real is.
Okay.
All right, let's build and connect. It's Jay Dizzle, Netter Cat. Like I Stand Radio on Blog Talk, Unapologetic Talk on Anchor, and you may be watching this on YouTube. Now, before I even start, let me just make something clear. I did not do this out of malice for Tiffany Haddish or anyone else who may fall into these realms that may feel some kind of way or think something that this is some type of agenda to slander. That's not what this is. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you what actually inspired me to do this, to make this recording / if you're watching it on video at YouTube, the Netter channel. So I was watching Drunk History on Comedy Central, and you know, I've heard some of these things that Katt Williams would say about Tiffany Haddish and other people that started echoing these same sentiments later. And to tell you the truth, I mean, you know, I think Tiffany Haddish is very talented, beautiful, gifted. You know, her story is incredible, inspiring. And, so I don't have any hate towards her or any malice towards her at all. But I started noticing when I start seeing things, and I seen a drunk history episode where she was the one that was, if you ever seen the episode Drunk History, it's where people get drunk and they tell a segment of history for 20 minutes, half hour, whatever it is. So as I'm watching this, and I'm just seeing like, wow, and I just keep seeing different things about her, and it's like she just keeps throwing the coochie specifically to white dudes, which I'm not one of those who I'm not like an anti-interracial relationship guy that goes out banging on people for having interracial relationships. I ain't gonna front. I didn't smash outside of my race. You know what I'm saying? I didn't smash Spanish mommies, snowflakes, native chicks, Asians. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm just gonna let you know it is what it is. My dick didn't always discriminate when it was time to smash. It just didn't. And if some of y'all Negroes are honest, then you would have to probably say the same thing. So it's not one of those. But there's a difference between smashing someone outside the race and catering and cooning towards them, especially when you're doing it for financial gain, but you're doing it publicly in front of everybody. We call that bed wench. We call that cooning, because that's pretty much what it is. So this is the same. I did a video yesterday, and I was saying, what would you be, if this was slave times, what would you be doing? So when I went into the Harriet Tubman, that's partly why this is the second half of this. So I went into the Harriet Tubman and some of the things that she's done. And I told you about her being a spy, and I told you about her being a nurse, and I told you about the political moves she made to allow black people to be able to get into the fight. And I said basically, like, whatever you're doing now is probably what you would have been doing then. So if you're only in pursuit of money, even at the expense of your own people, then you would have been selling out your people back then. Now, when I speak about Tiffany Haddish, I want to say this, and I want to say this about any celebrity that is currently cooning. It's unnecessary at this point. And a sister like Tiffany Haddish is so talented. She is so special. She is so gifted. She doesn't have to coon. See, when you have that much talent and that much of a gift, you're past the point where you would even have to coon. Even if you felt you may have to cater to get to that position, she's in a position right now. She doesn't have to do that. Let me give you an example. Dave Chappelle turned down $50 million, which I would never recommend anyone do, but I'm just saying his principles made him have to turn down that money. Now, even after being off of TV for over a decade, he was still hitting little club spots. You see, when you have the people, you got to remember, most celebrities, especially black ones, are endorsed by black people first, and then they go to stardom in most cases. So in other words, if we didn't validate them in the first place, other people wouldn't be checking for them as a way that they to enhance their career to make money. We validate these rappers before they blow up, these musical artists before they blow up, these actors before they blow up. So what I'm saying is, Dave Chappelle was able to turn down a deal that he didn't feel was within his integrity or within his moral or ethics to accept. Got out of television for damn near 10 years, and it don't matter if they blackball him or not, because he still stayed relevant, because he is so talented, and because people still wanted him just because of that Dave Chappelle, and he was still doing stuff in the clubs. So that means that eventually Netflix was like, yo, man, we can get some money off this dude. Let's just give him a deal. That's why he ended up getting that money back and then some. That's because people still fuck with him. And even if they didn't do that, he could still go to any hood, and if they know that Dave Chappelle's going to be at that comedy club, it's going to be packed. He can still make a living. And this is pretty much how it is for any celebrity or any entertainer that keeps it real to the soil. They may not be on TV a lot, but they can still eat rather nicely. They can still do their thing independently. This was what was trying to be expressed when Sway was talking to Kanye West. He was telling Kanye West, yo, you don't need all these big corporations to sponsor your clothes. You have enough money and namesake, you can do it yourself. And of course, I'm sure other celebrities that understand the vision would have probably put up money on it. So he didn't need these big corporations. He could have did it independently. Which the plus to that is that, number one, you see, whenever it's big corporations or executives, record execs and all that make your career, they can break your career. See, they couldn't break Master P's career. They can't break Jay-Z's career at this point. They couldn't break Rap-A-Lot Records. It's because they're independent. They couldn't break a E40 because they were independent. They're independent. So even if they don't sell 1 million records, well, hell, if they sell 100,000 streams within a year, that's still eating. If they sell albums out the trunk, that's still eating. If they're doing shows, even if they're venues, they're still eating. They can still attain that millionaire status. They can still live very well. That's the point, independently. But when you make it only because you catered to these big-time executives and these big-time TV and directors, when you cater to those guys, the Hollywood, the Jewish mafia that controls the music industry, then you have to continue to play ball or they'll cut you from eating. They'll snatch that plate. And there's nothing you can say or do about it. So at the point where she's at, Tiffany Haddish, she doesn't have to go that route. She can keep it real to the soil. She can keep it true without having to throw her pussy at every white dude that she's in front of. Because I notice she does that a lot. I seen her do it on the Colbert, on Late Night with Steve Colbert. I seen her do it on this drunk history thing I just watched. Pretty much anytime I see a white dude interview her, or where she's in the presence of white dudes on any kind of promos or marketing, she's like always throwing the coochie at them. And it's just like, wow, it's sickening. At some point, it's just sickening. Because it's not just like, hey, I'm a sister, but I happen to don't mind white dudes. It's like that she's making it a point to let them know they can smash. And that's disrespect to us. It is. It's disrespect that she goes out of her way to do that, because I don't see her act like that in front of black men. But like I said, if that's the personal choice, that's one thing. But it's not just that, because it's being an injunction to keeping her relevant and keeping her popping and keeping her working, which is unnecessary. And that's bedwenching. That's like a slave back in the day who would throw coochie at Massa because she thinks that he would treat her a little bit better. But guess what? Of all the slaves that were fucking Massa, whether they were being raped or whether it was consensual, in some cases it was, more than we would like to admit, they never freed them because of that. So to me, that's just kind of fugazi. And now I see the point that Katt Williams was trying to make, but I do just want to say something and send a message and let it be known that at the point we're at right now, 2019 almost, the cooning is over. It is not necessary to coon. It's not. If you truly have talent, you see, when we speak about casting couches, you know, women that will, and even men, I guess in Hollywood, who will have sex with people to be able to get a role in a movie, to be able to get a record deal, to be able to get a spot on TV. When you speak about these kind of things, you're talking about subpar talent. That's the only way they can get on. And that's why they typically, their careers don't go anywhere. And then 20 and 30 years, they want to say that Bill Cosby raped them. They want to say that this person raped them. This person sexually assaulted them. A lot of times that comes from people who willingly gave up the coochie for a position, but then they couldn't really cut it in the industry they're trying to break into. Because if you actually have that talent, which Tiffany Haddish does, then you're past the point where you have to behave like that. As a matter of fact, all you're doing is lowering your value. Because what happens when all these white dudes run through you and they're sick of you? What happens when you wake up and now you want to actually be on some real shit, but everybody's done ran through you, and now you want to try to act like you're on some conscious shit? Guess what? They ain't hearing it, and now they're going to cut you. They're going to break your plate. They're going to throw your plate off the table and tell you to go eat. But it's going to be too late. So this isn't just towards Tiffany Haddish. This is towards anybody that coon. This is like a Kanye. This is like anybody who doesn't understand that we're past cooning. You can't coon your way to the top. You can coon your way to the middle. You can coon your way to being comfortable. But you know that in this industry that we call Hollywood, or the music industry, or even in sports, you know they try to break you before you leave. Because they're not teaching you financial responsibility. And you got so many people in your pockets because you're relying on managers. You're relying on agents who's all taking a piece. You're relying on accountants that not really teaching you how to save and invest your money. So that's why a lot of these people, they end up being broke by the end of their careers. Not being able to pass that wealth down. So at this point, it's past the cooning. We don't need the buck dance. Y'all don't need to be buck dancing. You can get the support from your people when you're at that level. You can keep it real. You can make them play by your rules when you get to that level. Because they know that they need you because they want to make money. This is how some of these actors like a Denzel Washington and some of these other cats, this is how they're able to maneuver. We got some real cats that be in that acting and that be in that music and that be in the entertainment world. There's some real brothers and sisters that move in that entertainment world. And the reason they're able to do that is because they know their value, they know their worth, and they might not get as many roles, but they know because of their talent and because they're going to pull people, wherever stadium, whatever movie they're in, they know that they're going to draw an audience so they can turn down certain roles. They can say, I ain't doing it unless this, that. I'm not putting on a dress and this, and that. No, I'm not going to play the prostitute role. No, I'm not just going to keep playing the drug dealer role. I'm not going to whoop-de-whoop. They can do that because they understand their value and because they have actual value because people love what they do and will support what they do. But when they sell you that, we made you shit, then you're going to do whatever you want to do. That's the difference between being a slave and being free.